Welcome to Lead Today with me, Kalyna. Let's talk leadership.
Hey everyone, happy to be back and to continue answering some questions that I get regularly from clients. Doesn't seem to matter age, location, gender, job, none of it really makes too much of a difference in terms of the mental models and ways of thinking that support people out of disempowering stories. So today, and I talked about this a little bit in episode 100 on, what is coaching and what to expect from a session. But I really wanted to go, question by question and just do, maybe if they're even shorter episodes, that's fine, but just have an episode per question that shows up so that if you've had a coaching session with me and you want to kind of re-listen to the insights, maybe this will help. If you want a different perspective, if you want my perspective on this particular topic, I'm hoping that this group of episodes will help if you're wanting to focus on whatever the subject matter is. So this episode will be about how can I be more confident? That question. I get it a lot in different forms. And so I want to tackle it. I think there's an episode way back about this, and I'm not sure how we talked about it then, but I'll look that up and see what's there. I definitely talked about it before, but I want to address the question, how can I be more confident? And as I alluded to in the previous episode on what is coaching, and I don't know that that's the right question. Which is kind of, it's tough to say, okay, someone's coming to me with a need and they say, I want to be more confident. To me, what that really means is I want to be more prepared, or a change in mindset to be willing to learn. So two-prong approach to confidence, in my opinion. One is, okay, where are you not prepared? I've had this situation with literally someone just starting a role and somebody that's in a very high up position at a tech company in the same week. And so it's fascinating to see that the same kind of mental model runs no matter what. And how you can be more confident is, one, to be more prepared. So if you have a meeting, a speech, a test, a big moment in your life or career, prepare yourself. If you're not feeling confident, part of that could be to answer the question, how can I better prepare for this situation? So when stuff comes to mind, oh, I could take more notes, I could research, I could set up better systems, something will come to your mind. So the question that I would flip it to is, how can you better prepare for whatever it is that you're facing? Answer that for yourself. If you feel that you've prepared everything that you can and you've done all the preamble to be ready for this moment, then the next step is, okay, maybe I'm not confident because I haven't done this 1,000 times before, but maybe I'm willing to learn, willing to have this be performance 1 out of 1,000 or 2 out of 1,000 or 3, or speech or whatever, meeting that I run or team that I lead, whatever. If it's number 1, we all know that the first time we do anything is kind of this hurdle and mountain that feels bigger often than it is. Some things are big though, right? Some things just are really important, and that's fine. And it's not to take away the importance of it. The reason that you are nervous is because it's important to you, and that's good because it's prompting you to want to prepare and do a good job. So the part of you that's nervous and thinks, oh, I'm not really confident, I'm not really sure, one side of that is, okay, what do I need to know? So who can I talk to and how can I prepare? And the other side is, okay, I'm willing to do this to the best of my ability and then improve. So whether it's a pitch competition, one-on-one with your boss, sharing your ideas, you've got to be willing to iterate. And so willingness is better, in my opinion, than confidence, because if you are not well practiced and have not done something 1,000 times or 50 times or 100, whatever that threshold is for you that will make you feel that you're competent and therefore confident, then you've got to be willing to mess it up and or do a suboptimal job. I mean, again, do the best you can. The work is in the preparation. But once you've prepared to the point that you can and done your due diligence, then you've got to let that willingness take the lead. And if any part of you is saying, oh, but I could do this, okay, back to preparation. Oh, but I could, write out the script. Okay, prepare. But once it's the day of and you're in the moment and you are going into the pitch or the meeting or the performance or whatever it is that you're preparing for, once it's the day of and you're going into it, I think that's the moment for sure by that point that you have to say, I've prepared what I can. I've done what I can. I'm prepared. And I'm going to give this the best that I can give it. And I'm willing to show up here fully and give it my best based on where I'm at today. And so, sure, the scared part of you will say, oh, I don't know about this. We might just look really silly. We might mess this up. And then the critic in you is going to say, you know what? You're going to fall flat on your face. You should just pull out of this right now. There's nothing you can do about it. You're just going to mess this up. There's no reason for you to even do this. You've got to just negotiate with those parts of you. And this goes back to internal family systems and something that I see a lot with people where they let the critic take the wheel and run their life. And you are not your critic. It's a part of your mind. It's not you. The core part of you is the calm, self-assured. They use the word confident, but I think it's a self-assured, resourceful, sort of level-headed. If you think of like just centered, that core part of you. If you think when you hear core part, right, it's kind of like whether it's in the pit of your stomach or in your heart or kind of this in the center of you part that can discern different things. And from that core part, you can see, okay, the scared part of me is really nervous about this. I want to do a good job. I've done all I can. The supportive part of you, the nurturing, caring, supportive part might say, okay, but you did your best. And the appointment, the sales appointment or the presentation or the due date is right now. So we need to give it our best shot and, hit send or submit or however, walk into that room and do your best. And you might fall flat on your face. But again, the second step of confidence to me is willingness to iterate, willingness to show up into the room after you've prepared as best you can. So to me, it's a two-part process. Confidence is the wrong word, in my opinion. And really what you're looking at is you don't feel prepared or you're not prepared for the situation. And so how can you prepare until game time? And when it is game time, you've got to get your head in the game, talk to the different parts of yourself, tell the critic, thank you, you've helped me prepare. Tell the scared part, all right, I'm willing to take the risks of this situation and go for it. And so how do you hold yourself to that? Well, that'll be another episode where we talk about how do you set a goal and stick to it. How do you make sure that you don't talk yourself out of the situation because you don't feel confident, because people do that too. But assuming that you have to go into the sales call or the meeting, or you have to do the speech, or you have to show up at that lunch that you really feel nervous about with your father-in-law or whatever the case may be, whatever situation it is, I think we do a bigger service to ourselves if we let go of this fake it till you make it story, because it doesn't work. What you can do is think about where you do have competency already. You can think about where you've done something similar in the past. If you've done nothing similar in the past, think about situations that have prepared you for this. Just because you haven't led a meeting with 20 key stakeholders, just because you haven't done that before, maybe you've done something similar. And so draw upon past experience that can be useful. Think about your life experience and work experience to date and draw upon that. But let's be real. If it's the first time you're doing something, give yourself a bit of grace here and be willing to show up, because there are going to be people that count themselves out just because they've never done it before. But the only way to build confidence is by doing the thing, more than once. So you've got to get over that 0 to 1 hurdle. You have to do it. And I'm not saying to be drill sergeant with yourself about this. I'm not saying to be, I think you can be the kind, nurturing part of you and also remain in integrity and say, look, I committed to do this. It's scary. I can do hard things. I can do scary things. I've done new things before. And so it's not so much about confidence as it is talking yourself into the situation and into a mindset of, again, to me, the word is like self-assured, where you feel resilient, you feel prepared, and you're willing to give it your best shot and then learn. And so, okay, what if I mess it up? Well, you might. Are you willing to learn from it? Are you willing to get better? Are you willing to grow? Take notes, record the call, get feedback, learn from what it is that is potentially causing you pain. If you mess up a meeting or a business deal or a relationship, if you make mistakes, that's a part of life. And I know everybody says it and we kind of, oh yeah, sure, okay, but you're not in the middle of it when it hurts. It's like, okay, I've had a lot of situations in my life that have hurt me to this point. It's a willingness to get up and do it again. And, it might sound, as a kid, we had Thomas the Tank Engine, and it was, or the saying, I was just thinking of cartoons that I watch, or the saying, like if at first you don't succeed, try again. I mean, it sounds cheesy, right? But what is the alternative? So many coaching sessions where it's like, this is going to be hard. This is going to be uncomfortable. It's like, you know what? The guilt and the regret that you're going to feel if you don't show up at all, if you just bow out of it, is going to be worse. Now, if you're okay with saying, look, you know what? I really don't want to do this. This just isn't happening. It's not in the cards. That's your decision to make. It's your life. But if you've committed to something, or if you're in a job, or if you're, and you're given the opportunity to stretch past your current role or current experience and try something new, prepare yourself, do your due diligence, talk with the right people that can support you, read the right resources that can support you, practice as best you can before your big day, and then be willing to show up. To me, that is infinitely more powerful and realistic than trying to pretend you're confident or trying to talk yourself into confidence. Because if you're in a place of fear and uncertainty, or or you feel like you're not competent, then confidence is a big stretch. But if you can walk your mind up the ladder from fear to willingness to courage, that's an easier walk. That's an easier walk up the steps of emotions than from, I don't want to do this, I'm scared I'm going to mess it up, to, oh, of course I can do this, I'm the best at this, I can't fail, this is going to be easy. It's like, don't lie to yourself. That's, I think, why mantras and affirmations sometimes don't work, or people just want to repeat these they listen to a motivational video and then they're motivated. And we'll talk about that in another episode, specifically about motivation. Be real with yourself. That's the best way to motivate and feel confident, or feel any feeling you want to feel. You have to walk yourself up the levels of emotions. And I get that from David Hawkins' work, Letting Go. And it's in my book as well. I reference his material in my book called Memorable. And it really does make a difference in the way that I work with coaching clients when we don't go from fear straight to confidence. It's just, that doesn't work. It's not realistic. What's realistic is, I'm scared. Okay, tell me about why you're scared. Tell me about what the scared part of you is trying to protect you from. Okay, where could you, okay, I don't want to fail. Okay, where could you fail? What are the potential pitfalls? What are the potential risks here? Lay them out. Okay, who can you talk to? What can you research? How can you mitigate the risks? How can you prepare? How can you research to understand where the other pitfalls might, maybe you don't know all the pitfalls. Okay, look into it. Figure out what the risks are. Can I bear the risk of this situation? And then once you have figured out how to mitigate the risks, and you've addressed the fearful part of you that's trying to keep you safe. And by the way, that's a good thing. So if you're scared of something new, big, unknown, that's a good thing. That's an instinct that you should keep, not try to hide away in the corner or, just close the door on. That's the friend in your friend group that's the most cautious, that's the most careful. Let's think this through, guys. Like that friend that you have, that's a good friend. They're trying to keep you safe. So you can take that friend's concerns into consideration. And similarly, in your mind, you can take the scared part of your mind, all of the concerns into consideration. But then once you've done that risk mitigation portion and your due diligence, then it's time to say, okay, we've done what we can here, and negotiate with yourself. Okay, what is a fair first step forward? Okay, yeah, we can do the presentation, or maybe we should record the presentation first and then, watch it over. Okay. And I mean, I can see how talking to yourself in this way, it sounds kind of maybe funny to hear out loud, but I mean, you're in dialogue with yourself all day long, right? You're saying, not sure about this. Oh yeah, but maybe I can do it. Oh, I should call, this person about this and maybe they can help me. But like if I crash and burn, it's going to be really embarrassing. And are they filming that stand up? I mean, if they're filming it, then they're going to have me crashing and burning on video forever. And oh, but who really cares? Maybe I can do this. And we do this all day in our minds, right? You're batting around different ideas, and these are different parts of you that you want to integrate into one. You want to take into consideration all those parts of you that have a seat at the table in your mind and say, okay, I've negotiated with all these parts. We are in alignment. We are in agreement that we're willing to do this presentation or start this business or go on this date or whatever it is. And so once you've kind of resolved all those parts and everybody's on board, right? All these kind of the concerned part, the critic, the fun-loving part, the part that's really daring, once everybody's on board, then you can take that very next step forward. And it doesn't have to be anybody else's next step forward. You decide what the next step forward is, and that's where the willingness comes in. Okay, I'm willing to take this next step and do it to the best of my abilities, and then learn from it and see what happens and grow. And then I'll take the next step and I'll try it again. And remembering that the first time often seems worse than it is, and you can recover from it more often than not. And that doing it is the only true way to build the competency and therefore be confident in your abilities. Abilities means you're able. Well, you don't know if you're able or not, and you won't be able until you've done it, and certainly won't be very good until you've done it multiple times. So maybe you don't need to be more confident. Maybe you need to prepare more and then resolve to be willing and get all the parts of you in alignment in your head to say, okay, I'm willing to approach this. I'm willing to do this. I've taken all the risks into account. I can wrap my head around doing this. And that's what good salespeople are doing, right? Is they're taking care of all the concerns in your mind so that you have the willingness to make the purchase. You're selling yourself in your mind on, okay, I can do this. I can handle this. I can do hard things. I've done hard things in the past. And you're walking yourself from fear or from no territory into yes territory. So it's the same thing. You're just selling yourself on something that you've decided is good for you. It's good for you to lead the team or go on the date or try the new job or try the new passion project, hobby, go on a stand-up stage. Those things are good for you. That's why you're thinking you want to do them. So that's how you can be more confident, is don't not be. Be prepared and then be willing to see how it goes and then learn from that experience. So hopefully this has been less rah cheerleader and more sort of logical, navigate tough situations by talking yourself through them in a way that's supportive, resourceful, and realistic, so that you can actually negotiate with yourself to get yourself to do the things that, would be good for you and that would help you grow and become a better person, better in your career, better in whatever area of your life you're hoping to be better at. So, hey, I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you think somebody would benefit from hearing this, please do share it with them. Simple as clicking share and sending them the link. If you liked this or didn't, please do write a review, rate it, comment on the YouTube video, however it is you're interacting with this. It really lets the algorithms know that you're listening and that you like it, or at least have some sort of opinion. So I want to hear what you think, how this has helped you. Please do like, share, review, subscribe, any way to interact. It really does make a difference. And I appreciate you for spending your time with me here in this episode. I'll see you in the next one. We'll be tackling some different questions like imposter syndrome, being unmotivated, how to set a goal and stick to it, how to know when something is in or outside of your control, dealing with fun family dynamics. So we've got some good subject matter over the next few episodes, and I hope you find it all useful. We'll see you next time.